Good morning. In this video, I just want to talk about a couple of things for your first assessment, and I just want to highlight how to write a good word problem and how to show your solution. This is just to help you before you submit your 4 word problems. Okay, so let's start with how to write a good word problem. So, to write a good word problem, I would suggest you all start with an outline. I'll talk about this more in the video. And those of you who are in class have already seen this, but this is a good review of it. Number 2, I would suggest that you make your word problem more than one step. Make it a little bit challenging. An easy word problem is a boring one. And then number 3, make the story itself interesting. Don't just copy word problems from MathSpace and just say like that and put your name instead, for example. The problems on MathSpace are boring. I want you to make something that you would be interested to see in a test. Make the story involve your friends' names in the story, maybe members of your family, or maybe characters from TV shows or movies that you like. So make the story of the word problem interesting, or the situation it was in interesting. Okay? Now, these two numbers 2 and 3 seem obvious. I want to remind you of them. But number 1, I'm going to discuss a bit more in depth. So let me do that. So for the outline, I want you always to start before you write a word problem to make an outline of it. So basically, you want to ask yourself, what is the situation at the start? So what is the situation at the start? You want to ask yourself, what happens in the word problem? So in every word problem, things happen, things change, and that's why we're reading them. If nothing changes, then there's no problem to solve. And then, what's the situation at the end? What's the state at the end? Okay? So ask yourself this before you even write your problem. What are you starting with? What is happening? And what is the end? And let me give you an example here. So let's say I'm writing a word problem about a scuba diver. So let's say the scuba diver in my outline, I'm going to say starts at an elevation of 0 meters, because this is sea level. Okay? So the scuba diver is still above water, on the surface of the water actually, and this is where she starts. Now, what happens after that is that she dives. So I'm going to say what happened. I'm just going to write WH. And I'm going to say she dives 9 meters. 9 meters. So she dives 9 meters. So I'm going to put this as negative because it's 9 meters below surface. And then comes back up 3 meters to look at an interesting piece of coral. And then dives another 10 meters. So there's a lot going on here. Diving 3 meters, diving 9 meters, going up 3 meters, and then diving again 10 meters. And in the end, she's gonna, after doing all this, it's negative 9 plus 3. Let me do this in red just so it's clear to you. Negative 9 plus 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 minus 10. If you want me to write it on the side here, plus 3 is negative 6. Then negative 6 minus 10 is negative 16. So in the end, I'm at negative 16 meters. That's the end, okay? So right now, I have all of the information that I could possibly include in my word problem. But right now I have to decide, I need to remove a piece of this of information here, because if I give all the information, then I just wrote a story. I didn't actually write a problem. Whenever you read a problem, there's always a piece of information that's missing. So out of all these 3, you have to ask yourself, what am I taking out? What piece of information am I taking out? In my situation, am I taking out? there. In my situation, I'm going to take out this 3. I'm not going to say how many meters she went up to look at the cool piece of coral, but I'm going to give everything else. So my problem would look something like this. So my question would look like this. And I had to shrink the text a little bit to make it fit. Lena is going scuba diving. She starts at sea level, meaning on the surface of the water, then dives 9 meters below the surface. She then spots a cool-looking piece of coral and swims up to take a look. After that, Lena dives 10 meters deeper and ends up 16 meters below the surface. Notice that I mentioned that she starts at sea level. I mentioned that she ends at 60 meters below sea level. I also mentioned that she starts with by diving 9 meters below the surface, and that after looking at the coral, she dives down 10 more meters. Okay? The only thing I didn't mention was how much she swam up. So I just said swims up to take a look, swims up to take a look. I didn't actually mention how much she does. So my question now can be this: how far does Lena swim up to look at the coral, right? And so right now I put the whole story together, but in the end, after that, I can actually ask my question, which is how far does Lena swim up? Okay, and so I know that I'm looking for this answer. I'm looking for an answer of 3 meters, or positive 3 meters. Okay, so whenever you're writing a word problem, it really helps to start with an outline first, like have an idea of what you want to write about. Then think, where am I starting? What's happening inside the word problem? And how's it ending? And when you're picking a topic, pick something that you that you care about. Make it interesting, make it fun, make it something that you would like to see in a test. All right, now let's talk about how to show your solution, how to show your work. Now, whenever you're showing your solution, I want a few things. First of all, you wrote your word problem in English. I want you to translate it to mathematical expressions and be explicit about that. Meaning, when you see it, when for example, if you said in your problem 9 meters below sea level, maybe circle it or highlight it in your answer. Say that. So in the previous question, I can say 9 meters below means or is equal to -9. That way, I'm showing that this is how I translated the phrase. So show that not in your problem, but in your solution. Next, pictures and diagrams. If while you're solving, show me a visualization of the problem. I want you to be able to have a picture in your mind of what is going on in this problem. And I'll show you an example of that next. And then lastly, actually solve the expression, right? So, but show me this one step at a time. And I'll show you an example of this. Okay? So let's look first at diagrams and pictures. If I wanted a diagram of the previous question, I can make something very simple. Let's say that this is the sea level. Let me do it in blue. And this is Lena. Now she starts off by diving 9 meters. Then she goes back up to look at a cool piece of coral. Let me just put a box here. But I have no idea how much she goes up because it's not mentioned in the problem. After she's done, she goes down 10 more meters and ends up at -16. So the level she ends up at here is 16 meters below. Let me just write 16 meters below sea level. Okay? So she went down 9, up an unknown amount, and then down 10 again. So what we can do here to show our solution is work backwards, right? So step 1, we have to say, what if we work backwards? So we're starting at negative 16, because this is where we ended, and we're working backwards. And instead of diving down 10 meters, we're going to say plus 10, so that we can go back to this point over here. Negative 16 plus 10 is negative 6. So we're at negative 6. So we know that this point here is negative 6, or 6 meters. I haven't been putting the negative, so I won't put it here. And then number 2, Lena actually swam up to get to 6 meters because she started at 9. So all we have to find right now is the difference between 9 and 6. So 9 minus 6. Or if we want to do it in a different way, we can say minus 6 plus 9. That way we'll know that we swam up 3 meters. And that's it. We found this unknown. And so we can write out our answer as Lena. So we can say Lena swam 3 meters upwards to look at the coral. And we're done. We have our picture, as simple as it is. We have our expressions. We simplified them step by step. And we have our answer in a full sentence at the end. All right? Okay, now, for some of you, I've seen you in class, and I've already talked to you about this stuff. For another group of you, I will see on Sunday and Monday, and we'll continue improving our word problems. So I want you to come into class with 4 word problems, and then we'll work on improving them together. For cohort E, I want you to email me questions. I want you to show me your current word problems through email so that I can give you feedback and we can work on them together. All right? Good luck, and I'll see you at some point. Bye.